And welcome, everyone. This is the Subtropical Gardening Podcast. My name is Paul Plant. I've been doing horticulture since the 90s, been on radio for over 20 years, been publishing works in articles and in magazines also since the 90s. So, very experienced, also worked in wholesale nurseries, retail nurseries, in the landscape industry, and also the construction industry. So, diverse, but predominantly in the horticultural and the gardening industry, to which I've gained a lot of experience through failure and success. And this is really what I want to share with you through this podcasting station. And I'm hoping to do it every single week, pretty much like a radio station I used to do on various stations, whether it's 4BC, Newsra FM, ABC. This time I'm going to try to create this as a regular live streaming video, specifically on YouTube. So all about this, it's basically a time to celebrate and enjoy the activities of gardening. I mean, I'm an avid plant collector. I'm known to collect plants, one of everything I possibly can. And usually in the nursery industry, if someone cannot find it, they come to me to source that particular plant. Also, I do specialize in the tropical and the subtropical plants. That is both the native and the non-native plants. And that's my main interest. And I love to grow and encourage people to grow species that stimulate and encourage wildlife, whether that's be birds, bees, butterflies, lizards, snakes, everything. Probably not crocodiles, but that's a different story. And it's all about really the subtropics and the tropics. Um, Obviously, I will be doing most of these by myself, but I will be encouraging some particular people to come and join me on a Saturday morning. It might be a different day as well, to be a co-host to the particular program. And we'll see how that develops over time. And it's all about, hopefully, we will improve your skills when it comes to gardening and share the errors and the mistakes we've made, and hopefully that will help you overcome those issues, save you the time, save you the money, so you have a more successful gardening time while you learn this gardening lifestyle. And I will say, if you can join a garden club, that is absolutely one of the things I encourage all gardeners to do, because it is a great way to learn and share this thing that some of us call a hobby. Some of us, it's basically a lifeline. It keeps us happy. It keeps us relaxed. It keeps us social. And I really encourage people to do those things as best as you can. I've got a couple little notes here to help me. This is my first one as a live video. Hopefully I do this quite well. And because it's live, I'm going to make a few mistakes. However, that's how life is. And where's my little program? So basically, just a couple of little observations I've seen in my garden, which you might also see, is the last couple of weeks we have been seeing a lot of golden penders in full bloom. That is the Xanthostemon chrysanthus, the big tree. That's the pure species. There's also some dwarfer varieties on the market. So you've got Expo Gold and Fairhill Gold, which is a slightly dwarfer shrub form. It's a small tree, small shrub. Small tree, large shrub. Can grow to about 3 to 4 meters tall, but you can prune it down to make it nice and dense. And there are some streets around Brisbane where they've actually been created as a barrier and a noise buffer between the main streets and the houses. So definitely worthwhile considering in your yard. That is the golden pender, but the Fairhill Gold and Expo Gold varieties. There's also a creamy white version that is Xanthostemon verticillata. Beautiful plant, very popular in Cairns and becoming more popular here in southeast Queensland. There's also Xanthostemon chrysanthus, little Goldie. That only grows, well, mine is about 2 meters tall, which is pretty impressive, but very small leaves, small flowers. I think grown more for its foliage than for flowers. But I find that both the Xanthostemon verticillata and the little pender do appreciate a little bit more water than the others do. And the reason why we've had such a wonderful flower display is, of course, because of the rain that we have had, inundated by flooding, by rainfall, by the cyclone, and it really has stimulated the flowering. So I'm hoping you are enjoying those. And of course, in the bush, there's a lot more other yellow flowering plants in the bushland. So some are native sceners and some are unfortunately weeds. The birds and the butterflies don't really know the difference. They still spread the seed. They still go to those flowers for pollination for the bees. But if we can at home, try to grow the native cassia rather than encouraging that weed to take over. Um, Feature plant for today. I do want to encourage plants every single week for people to grow, and this is one of my alocasias. So I'm going to bring it within the screen, and I just love the variegation on it. It has occasionally had a few grubs eat some of the leaves, and with all the rain, the caterpillars have been really bad. So you do have to control them. But this particular one has been growing very well. It's popping up exceptionally well. And alocasias are really a diverse group for collectors. You get some very large specimens over 2-3 meters, and then you get some small dwarfer forms. Leaves color in range from green to creams to splotches. You've got some with purple tones. You've got the pure variegated Alocasia macrorhiza variegata. This is, I think, one of the macrorhiza hybrids. I have forgotten the name, and I will put it on the show notes at the end of the program. But I have a collection of probably about 10, maybe, I think, of different alocasias, and I am still collecting them. But the secret, especially here in Southeast Queensland, is during the summer, during the heat periods, they love the heat and they love the water to keep them up in growth. So you do need to fertilize them. However, as it starts to cool down, cut back on the watering because the root zone, they don't like to be cold during winter. So just reduce the watering a little bit. A little bit drier is perfectly fine. As long as you've got green leaves, that means they still need water and they still need a little bit of fertilizer. And by speaking to a couple of of my colleagues, they've told me that they fertilize these with a liquid fertilizer every couple of weeks to really boost big foliage from the plants. But I'm a little bit of a rough gardener. I put in some slow release pellets. I usually think that's okay. I give them a bit of a boost with a seaweed solution and also a fish emulsion based product just to help them along. And I think they're doing pretty well. And I think in coming weeks, I'll show you some more as well. So each week it'll be a completely different plant. And no, they will not all be alocasias. I'll try to mix it with a blend of natives, a blend of non-natives, so that you can see I was going to say experience, so you can experience the diversity that we can grow here in the local climate, which is including both native, non-native, and of course some of the edible plants as well. So I have my range of citrus. I have a couple of other fruiting tropical trees on site, a bunch of native plants which have beautiful edible foods components, and I will share those with you when they get to fruit stage. And a range of different plants as well. We'll be featuring maybe some new releases. I tend to prefer to test them first before advertising or promoting them, but we'll see how they particularly go over the period. Probably the other main thing I really want to highlight is that there are fundamentals for a successful garden. And you do need to do a couple of things in order to make it very successful at home. And those can include understanding where we live, which is the subtropics, which was part of my first podcast. And at least I think that was my first podcast. And of course, you've got things like the fundamentals of soil, the fundamentals of watering, the fundamentals of light, the fundamentals of pruning. And we will try to address some of those things either as standalone topics or embracing them when it comes to a particular plant feature. And of course, that makes a lot more sense. And we'll try to do that. One thing I won't be doing on the program is featuring events, as in upcoming events, mainly because at present, I'm not kind of setting this system up for that particular thing. There's a lot of other protocols and systems out there, social media, that highlight those things. But this is more about getting a grasp on gardening here in the local area. So that's basically this main live presentation for the YouTube on the Subtropical Gardening podcast. I did a whole AI audio for the intro. It was going to be just an audio podcast, but then I thought, no, gardening is very visual. It's very tactile. We feel plants, we touch plants, we taste plants, we smell plants, we look at plants. So doing an audio podcast just about gardening, although it kind of works for radio, it does have issues. So with a YouTube visual podcast, I can at least show you the plants that I love and the reasons I love them, and hopefully encourage you to try those particular plants as well. So I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. It's only just started. I've got my personal channel, but this is a podcast. So please like it and follow it. And very slowly it will grow. It's going to start very, very small. I'm not going to put it out on social media. This is one I'm just going to let slowly grow by natural interest. And yeah, that's my key thing. So as I said, I'm going to try and do this every week if I can, and we'll see how it goes. So thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next Subtropical Gardening podcast.